All right, it says we are live. Um, Hi, Club of More. Welcome back to another video. So this is our Worthy Women Winning series. And I'm Dejanay Knuckles. I am also known as the Worthy Mother. I am a coach certified in transformation coaching and REBT coaching. And I am a mentor, an author, and a single mom and a divorcee. And so, even though I've been doing this coaching thing, helping women to reclaim their life after separation and divorce, my journey did not start here. Um, Basically, when my ex husband left and I found out about his infidelity, I started to embrace my self worth, and my perception of relationships started to change. And so, through that journey and through that growth, I came up with this series. And so, I just wanted to showcase women who are thriving after divorce so that the women that are still struggling in this area could see that there's joy and freedom on the other side of their pain. And so right now I have a beta one-on-one coaching program going on. And so if you are separated, divorced, a woman, and want to reclaim your life and experience freedom, then head over to bit.ly/the worthy mother, and then you can book a 15-minute discovery call for free, and then we can chat about it and see where to go from there. Another disclaimer is I have a 3-year-old. She is here, and so if you hear her or see her, if she interrupts me, then we just keep the ball rolling. But without further ado, we have Dr. K here. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
First of all, I want to say, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I just want to say congratulations to you
Oh,
for
thank you.
taking your pain and turning that into purpose and then helping so many other people. I admire your strength and just the courage you had to set up this platform to be able to help other women on this journey. So
Thank you so
kudos
much.
to you for not being
Thank
buried
you.
in your pain, because you could have succumbed to that like many
Yeah.
people do. So a round of applause.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So, hey, everybody. I am Dr. K, Dr. Keisha Tate, affectionately known as Dr. K. I am a naturopathic medical physician. Our training is conventional and traditional and based in acupuncture and homeopathy. We really get to the root cause of the issues. And so, as I was in school, actually, no, so I won't go there yet. So I'm just on this journey. I help people, in particularly Black women. That seems to be who I attract. Help them with the health disparities that we deal with in the healthcare institutions. So I have noticed, just as a Black woman myself, needing healthcare, some of the disparities that exist, and just being in the clinics and those type of settings, just seeing the type of care or the lack of thereof that we receive. And we've seen that with Serena Williams and so many other celebrities. So it
Yeah.
doesn't matter the acronyms that appear after your name or the zeros that appear in your bank account. As a Black woman, oftentimes the care, again, the level of care is not the same. And so I have just a passion for that and a passion for helping people in general with their health and their wealth. So,
Nice, nice. That's awesome. Um, so I'm going to hop right in. So my first question to you is, what environment did you grow up in? Did you grow up in a two-parent household, single parent? Was it a healthy environment or toxic environment?
thank you. That's a great question. I grew up in a single parent household. My mom raised 5 kids on her own as a single mother. She did the best that she could. She raised, my environment was not toxic at all. She didn't have men around us. She did not drink, or, well, she drank, but reasonably, party, but it was family oriented. Family came to the house. So I would say I had a healthy childhood growing up. My dad was absent present, so he was around, and that we'll talk about that. I'm sure some questions will come up about that and how that impacted my choice in men. But so my father was present when he wanted to be.
Mm-hmm. And we can go straight into that actually. So how did that father being absent present, and then also your mom raising you with no toxicity. So that was a good thing to throw out there. How did those environments basically like set you up for your relationships in the future?
That's another excellent question. My mother, let's just deal with that one first. So,
Mhm.
raising me as a single, strong, independent Black woman, there's some advantages and certainly some disadvantages to that. And I was listening to, I think it was a podcast or interview recently, and the guy asked a question, and I was like, that is so true. Um, but basically, we're just taught to be very independent. And
Yeah.
so oftentimes when you look around at your friends, if you have a diverse group of friends that you're around and you see other cultures, they they grow up more or less uh,
Yeah.
serving and submitting to
Mhm.
their men. And we, on the other hand, we grow up uh, like your legs work just like mine. You can fix your own plate,
Yeah.
and I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing, but it is the thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
Oftentimes
definitely.
is that is the result of being raised, I think, in a single head of the house Black woman. Uh,
Mhm.
at least that's my story. Of course, everybody's story is different, but so that's how my mom raised me, to be an independent, strong Black woman, and I am that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then on the other hand, regarding your question regarding my dad, I remember I must have been, I don't know, like 10, very young. And I remember my father, he was being inconsistent when he picked me up. And I asked him, like, why are you, like, you say you're going to be here and you're not here. He said, you know what? I'm teaching you a lesson. I don't want you to ever depend on the man. First of all, I'm 10. A man? My Ken Barbie doll? Like, what are you talking about?
Wow.
And he said, I want you, I don't want you ever to depend on the man. So that's why I show up. And then sometimes I don't show up. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Is there another way to teach this lesson?
Yeah.
But in his mind, that was the right thing to do. And
Mm,
not until years later, when I was an adult and I had this whole, my come from is, I don't need you. Like,
mhm.
I'm educated. I
Yeah.
work. I get the bag. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really need you. Can you tell me why?
Mhm.
Like, and so that really impacted me greatly.
Yeah.
And the choice of men that I selected, because I didn't really feel that I needed them. And
Mhm.
not until I was probably like in my middle 30s, I never even thought I would get married or have kids because
Mhm.
again,
Yeah.
I don't need them.
Mhm.
It didn't make sense to me, really. I just wanted to travel the world and get all the bags I wanted from Gucci and Fendi and whomever else. It
Yeah.
feel like I needed to be married because I didn't have any examples of that. So,
Yeah. So what men did you choose? Like
uh,
what types of men?
so in my 20s, I chose only D boys, uh, guys who had fast cash. I was not
Mhm.
interested in anybody who had a job. I
Mhm.
wasn't interested in anybody who wanted a commitment.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
need them, right? I
Yeah.
just need trips around the world. I
Mhm.
need, my mom's bills paid, my bills paid, and I need jewelry and clothes and bags. Like, so
Mhm.
that's for years. That was just who I was.
Yeah.
And then when I got older, probably in my middle 30s, actually, you're asking me what type of man. So I chose emotionally unavailable men.
Mm, I see.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't realize it, it was a discovery probably in my 40s and 50s, but
Mhm.
I chose emotionally unavailable men who had stuff,
Mhm.
have stuff here, substance,
Yeah. Yeah.
clients, because they were, I don't want to say superficial, but that's what I was attracted because I didn't want anything necessarily so deep because I
Yeah.
didn't anybody to disappoint me because my
Yeah.
dad disappointed me because he didn't show up. And so,
Mhm.
how dare you? You're definitely not going to do the same thing my dad did to me, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
those people who weren't available emotionally.
Oh, that's so good. That is a good revelation. Like to just connect all of those pieces like that. So yeah,
Painful process, you know.
yeah,
Me
definitely.
years to discover that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's good. So uh let's see. What space were you in before you got married? So before you met your husband.
Probably in the same space. I realized in my mind that there
Mhm,
was not one man who could satisfy all my needs.
mhm,
So right before I met my husband or ex-husband, I
mhm,
had somebody who was my shopping buddy, somebody who's
mhm,
my traveling partner, somebody
mhm.
who's my sex toy, somebody who was my conversationalist, who stimulated my mind. Uh,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I had about 5 to 7 guys that I dealt with, but only
Oh,
one that
okay.
I was intimate with, really.
Mhm, mhm.
And so I was just having fun. Like
Yeah.
I didn't want again any commitments. I was, I think, about 33 when I met my ex-husband, and again, I just was in a space. I was happy,
Mhm.
and just wanted to have fun
Yeah.
and
So
do that.
what yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So what like led up to number one, I guess the first question is why did you want to marry? Like why did you want to enter marriage if you were so like
Happy.
detached?
No.
Yeah, happy where you were and like detached from men as far as like having something deep. So
Yeah.
like what
Excellent question. My mom. Uh,
okay. Okay.
my ex continued to call her, and she continued to call me. Like, what is wrong with you? He's a great guy. He wants
Yeah.
to settle down.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what is wrong with you? I'm like, nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fine. Like I'm traveling all over. I mean, what I don't understand. What can he do for me that I can't do for myself?
Yeah.
I really didn't understand that. Like
Mhm.
the dots weren't connecting. And so she continued to talk to me, wore me down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you should settle down. You should think
Mhm.
about it. Like nobody wants to get old by themselves. Uh,
Mhm.
I had never thought about that. I never thought about
Yeah.
getting old. I just thought I was going to be 30ish forever.
Yeah.
Uh, and so I don't know. Between the two of them, I started slowing down, letting go of all of those other people, and just seeing the character and the heart of that of my ex. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess he is a good guy.
Mhm.
I guess if I were to settle down, this would
Mhm.
probably be the kind of person I would need to settle down with.
Mhm.
He wants the best for me. If he has a dollar, I'm going to get the whole dollar and decide
Yeah.
what to do with the dollar. So it's some great qualities.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I did the darn thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. Total sense that initial pressure like and I feel like a lot of people have that same story of like parents and outside people are like well you're getting old so you might want to start settling down so I definitely understand so what happened in the marriage that led to the decline and led to the divorce.
Another excellent question. I think there were a number of things. My ex and I went on to establish an empire together. We did great things together. He was a visionary, and I was the executor. And so we
Mhm.
really made a great business team. And we acquired a whole lot. And then as we begin to financially, things begin to change for us.
Mhm.
That's when things begin to change in our relationship. Uh,
Mhm.
he became he was a provider, a great provider.
Mhm.
And when he lost that ability to buy me a $150,000 car or a bag or whatever, he became angry with himself and
Mhm.
disappointed with himself. And so he started
Yeah.
being emotionally and verbally abusive.
Mhm.
Again, remember, I'm from Detroit. Like, you are not
Yeah.
about to talk to me like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No. So that became a problem.
Mhm.
And so I
Yeah.
tried to remind him, hey, we started with nothing basically
Mhm.
together. we can rebuild
Yeah,
if
yeah.
we have the tools. We
Mhm.
have our health, we have love, like we know how to get the bag. So that's not the problem. But that was hard for him to start over and to
Yeah.
start really from nothing. You know, we start losing everything and filed a
Mhm.
$10 BK, a
Mhm.
bankruptcy. So it
Yeah.
was just, I realized during that season that men oftentimes attach stuff to their worth and
Yeah.
not know how to totally support him
Mhm.
during that process because I was also suffering, losing everything, and still, you know, at that time we had two kids, or not at the time, but we had two small kids at the time, and so it
Mhm.
was a process for both of us, and we did not get the right support to help us navigate through that season.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And I'm from Detroit too.
Hey, you're Dejanay. I've talked to you
Yeah.
so many times. I
Yeah.
just see the connection. Just
Yeah.
texted you like I don't know a couple weeks
Yeah.
ago. I feel
Yeah.
like oh,
Yep. Yep.
blame it on my old age.
Yeah. Um,
Funny.
that is awesome. So that's the decline of the divorce. So what happened for the transition out? Like how did you heal? Like did you do any healing, self-development, personal development type stuff after the divorce?
Yeah, eventually I did. When I went through the divorce, I started medical school. In
Hmm.
my first year, I realized that, hey, I'm going to lose my mind if I try to stay in medical school and stay married. I
Yeah.
can't do both. I'm fighting for my own mental sanity. I'm trying to fight for my marriage. I'm trying to fight this thing in school. Too many
Yeah.
fights going on right now.
Mhm.
And so I decided in my first year of medical school, probably at 3 months into it, when I knew I had to separate and get out of the household because it became toxic
Yeah.
and unhealthy for me and my daughters. So I did eventually leave within that first year, and I probably started. I'm trying to think if I started therapy immediately. I know my daughter started immediately, and I
Yeah.
think I maybe a couple of months later because of school and stuff.
Hmm.
I eventually started, but therapy was key
Yeah.
for all of us
Hmm.
uh, because we experienced a lot. You know, we experienced a lot of joy, you know, and then we experienced a lot of lows. And so
Yeah.
it's important for us to understand that none of us was totally at fault, to accept the part that we played, and to get the healing that we needed. And it was especially important for me, but for my daughters as well, so that
Yeah.
they could learn. Oftentimes, kids, when they go through a divorce with a parent, they feel like it's their fault. They did something,
Yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
and so I wanted to make sure they understood it had nothing to do with these little people, but everything to do with the
Yeah.
big people. And
Yeah.
so just reinforcing that and making sure that they had a good foundation so they could have healthy relationships in the future. That's what
Yeah.
was critical for me.
Yeah, that's great too because most people don't do the whole therapy thing. So to for you to know like, yeah, I need to not only put myself through therapy, but put my kids through therapy, that is huge. So
For sure. We were in therapy for about 2 years um, and still need therapy, actually.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, we do. I know in the Black community, oftentimes it's something that we don't necessarily, at least prior to COVID, maybe
Yeah.
embrace or accept. I think we're more open to it now over the
Yeah.
last 2 years, but it's okay.
Yeah.
You can
It
have guided
definitely.
therapy for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. So what led you to this thriving place that you are now with your purpose, your career, and everything you got going on for you now?
Just accepting what was
Hmm.
and looking forward and embracing what is to come.
Hmm.
You know, and taking all of my life lessons, realizing there's some blessings in those and some deep down lessons as well. And so just taking all of that and just saying, okay, that happened for me, which is one of the things I learned actually through the program that you and I went through together.
Yeah.
Prior to then, I never even heard of that. I'm 53. So something can happen for me and not to me. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
what are you talking about? So I had never heard of that concept before. And so knowing that and knowing what I knew prior to that, just um, the future is bright, you know. I'm at a place now that I've never been before, you know,
Yeah.
with my ex. We had a, what do you call it? We were both very angry. And so
Mhm.
for years, we did not have proper communication or anything like that. Now I can have
Yeah.
conversations with him. He can come to the house. Like it's no problems at all. But that took some time
Mhm.
to heal him.
Yeah.
So hopefully I answered your question. How did I get
Yeah.
here? Accepting what was again and embracing what is to come. And so
Yeah.
letting go of all of that baggage, not taking it and moving forward with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is definitely the biggest piece because basically the at the end of the day is it's forgiveness, and that is what that's what that is, letting all the baggage go is the forgiveness piece. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So
um yeah. So are you looking for love again, or have you found love again, or what is that looking like?
uh, I am absolutely open to love and for love.
Mhm.
That's what we were sent here to do, to execute
Yeah.
our purpose and to be loved and to give love.
Yeah.
So absolutely, for years after my marriage, I was like, absolutely not. Don't look at me, talk to me, keep it moving. And so I think over the last couple of years, I've been open to it, and so I've been in, I would say, one serious relationship since my ex, and that person was ready for marriage, and I was not at the
Mhm.
time, and so kind of it didn't happen because I just wasn't ready for what he was ready for.
Yeah.
But since then, I'm healed, and again, I'm very open. I'm very, I don't want to sound desperate. I'm open
Yeah.
for love. Yes, for sure.
Okay, nice. So what like non-negotiables or like green flags are you looking out for this time in a new relationship?
Let me get my book out. Hold on.
Yeah, okay.
No, seriously. There are several things that are really, really important to me. Some of those are he must be in a real relationship with God. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about like one of those people that be like, MF this and be that, and be like, oh, I love God. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. But I'm talking about a real relationship where you communicate
Hmm.
on a daily basis. You know your word, you're in your word.
Yeah.
Because how can I submit to you if you don't submit to him? Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially,
Definitely.
I never knew it until recently, but I'm an affluent female, you know? It's just who I am. If you don't step up and be the man, then I feel like I got to do the job. So, and I don't
Yeah.
want to do the job because I'm not equipped to do the job, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so he must be a manly man. He must
Yeah.
be strong and confident. You know, I cannot, again, play that role because I wasn't
Mhm.
disciplined for it. Let's see. He must be my best friend and my cheerleader, my number one cheerleader. You know, one
Mhm.
of my friend's father said it years ago, you know, when you look for a mate or find a mate, you want to make sure somebody that you can grow old with. Someone
Mhm.
that when you don't have teeth in your mouth, when you don't have things on, you know, that you guys still can talk about things. You still can
Yeah.
hold hands, you know. It's not superficial, it is deep
Mhm.
and
Yes.
spiritual
Yes.
and intimate and real. And so
Yes.
that's what it has to be for me. Let's see. He must be healed or on the journey to being healed.
Mhm.
I got enough baggage that I've had. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm too weak to carry somebody else's stuff. So
Yeah.
uh must be healed and will and or willing to get the healing and help that he needs.
Mhm.
Um, let's see. Must stimulate me intellectually. I'm a
Mhm.
sapiosexual. Do you know
Yeah.
what that is? Uh,
Yes, yes, that's me. That's definitely me. I need to be stimulated in my mind, like please, deep conversations, all types of stuff. Yeah.
exactly. Yes, yes, yes. So he can start talking to me about, I don't know, football. I mean, that's fine, but he has to be able to touch me and to reach
Hmm.
me before we even get into an intimate setting, you know? And
Exactly.
so if that doesn't exist,
Yeah.
game. And he must know how to love and support a strong black woman. You know,
Hmm.
oftentimes men say, I'm attracted to that. And then when they get that, they're like, oh, I
Mhm.
don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So just having somebody who's sure about himself and knows what he wants and knows how to support me for sure. I have a lot
Yeah,
going on. And so, yeah, I'm looking for my cheerleader. Are you out
yeah,
there?
yeah. Yeah, if you're out there, please comment. Like, comment, subscribe. That's funny.
Yes,
Um,
yes, yes. I'm gonna give you my contact information after this.
yep, I'll put in the description box. um, yes, those were all great. Like, that's exactly what I'm looking for in my next person. And yeah, those were all great. So the next question is, if you were to go back to your younger self before any relationship and tell her one piece of advice as it relates to relationships, what would you tell her?
Mm, that's a good question. Dang, just one?
Or you can say you can say as many as you need to.
Well, I would say one is people may not agree, but listen with your ears and not your heart.
Yes.
Oftentimes, I think our heart, when we're led by our heart,
Mhm,
that's too emotional.
mhm,
We make decisions that sometimes we regret when we are led by our emotions. So I
mhm,
would say listen with your ears.
mhm,
I would say have fun.
mhm.
Know who you are
Yeah.
before you can know somebody else.
Mhm.
Uh, and be a whole and happy person. Travel
Yes.
the world. Have some experiences.
Mhm.
That's really important. People think often, oh, I'm going to take a half of me and a half of somebody and we're going to make a whole. Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah. No. No.
You
No.
need
No.
to be whole, and he needs to be whole to make a whole relationship and then to invite
Yeah.
Christ at the center of that.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would say is really young, old, middle age, whatever, uh, have a relationship with Christ.
Mm.
It will prevent and eliminate a lot of bad choices
Yeah. Yeah.
at the center of your life. Knowing your purpose, knowing what you've been, sent here to do, I
Yeah.
think it will really um, save us from a lot. I remember CC Winans, who's from Detroit, and I happen
Mhm.
to know them from Detroit, and I heard her say that she was grateful that the way her parents raised her and
Mhm.
her father showed her, what it was to be loved and what it was to give love and receive love. And
Yeah.
that prevented her from making a lot of mistakes.
Mhm.
She only had one husband, which is Al.
Mhm.
I've ever known one man, and she didn't have a lot of worldly experiences. And
Yeah.
so I think we protect ourselves when we know God and when we keep Him at the center of our relationship. So that
Mhm.
is one of the things that I truly trying to instill in my daughters is to
Yeah.
have a relationship with Him, and
Yeah.
then better choices. Will we still make mistakes? Absolutely,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we'll be less than 1,000 actually.
Exactly. Exactly. That's awesome. That is awesome. Um, and so the last question, and it may you may have already answered it because you gave multiple, but my last question was if you what is through your whole experience with relationships, what is your biggest piece of advice for our audience as far as your experience goes?
Hmm. My biggest piece of advice, I think, is on the same lines, is to be healed and whole
Mhm.
before you get into a relationship. Don't
Yeah.
expect for somebody else to fix you when you haven't even fixed yourself.
Yeah.
Uh, have your own joy and happiness. People
Mhm.
can contribute to our happiness, but they can't make us
Yeah.
happy. They can't,
Yeah.
if you wake up and you're having a bad day, yeah, of course, if you have a significant other or spouse, they can add laughter to your life. But at the
Mhm.
end of the day, you have to be able to make yourself laugh, go in the mirror and encourage yourself,
Mhm.
hold your head up high. So I would say, just know who you are and
Yeah.
be healthy and happy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
important. And then you guys can bring that together and you can go, to the moon and the stars together.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because I didn't even know myself like before getting married. Like, yeah. So when I came out of it, I was like completely lost because I'm like, and then just not knowing yourself and coming out of that space, you're like really frantic and desperate and all of that because you don't know yourself and you don't
Right.
know what's going to happen and like where to go from there. So
Exactly.
that's a great piece of advice, to be whole and know yourself before even walking into even a relationship, let alone a marriage.
Absolutely. So important.
Yeah.
So important. Have
Yeah.
your own happy space, for
Yeah. All
sure.
right. Well, that was the end of our interview. And if you want to tell people where they can find you, and then I'll put your information in the description box.
Awesome. You can find me on IG at the Doc of Health and Wealth. You can find me on the web at the Doc of Health and Wealth .org. Soon to come, under construction, is Get the Bag and Keep the Balance. In the process of finalizing the course and the whole movement, because as a health provider, I realize that when we are in the pursuit of purpose, oftentimes we neglect our health.
Yes.
So it is important to have a balance. And,
Mhm.
you know, we often say, oh, get the bag and I'm going to work on the balance later. No, we need to do both simultaneously
Mhm.
or it will cost us
Yeah.
in the long run. And so I am passionate about that. So just really at the beginning of starting that movement and that online presence for that. So excited about that. Excited to be able to help entrepreneur women who um, understand what they're called to do, but just really don't know how to have that balance in life. So I'm
Yeah.
coming for you, coming to help you transform not only your wealth, but to change your health as well. So
Yeah. Nice. Well, that was awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
thank you. Bye. Good job.
Thank you.